The single greatest source of urban water pollution is not industrial wastewater, as one may suspect. The greatest source of urban water pollution is actually the stormwater that runs off of roofs, roads, parking lots, and other impervious surfaces every time it rains. In contrast, many areas within the watershed act as sponges for weather runoff, melting snow and similar stormwater sources. However, continued urbanization has reduced these areas, and pollution associated with stormwater begins to become more apparent with the increase in development. To clarify, stormwater is categorized as any rain, snow, or any other type of precipitation that flows over the landscape immediately after a weather event and consequently flows untreated into our surface waters, carrying with it debris, dirt, chemicals, and various other materials. This type of pollution is called non-point source pollution and is the cumulative effect of small amounts of contaminants gathered from a large area. This includes accumulated from a large area of drainage, can include multiple sources such as farm fields, agricultural drains, septic tanks, drain fields, storm drains, lawn fertilizers, golf course runoff, etc. Sources are difficult to narrow down and identify. The pollutants may be organic or inorganic, and the pollutant loads are difficult to calculate. So the question is, what kind of impacts can non-point source pollution from untreated stormwater have on an inland lake? In brief, here are a few different ways that a lake with direct storm drain effluent can be affected. Reduces clarity and increases turbidity, affecting how deep sunlight can penetrate into the water column. Increases nutrient loads, including phosphorus and nitrogen, which are direct contributors to the unwanted growth of excess algae. These factors can contribute to the reduction of dissolved oxygen, which directly affects the fishery and overall ecology of the lake. Can increase sedimentation, which also affects the fishery. Could be a direct source of E. coli bacteria. And overall leads to a faster rate of anthropogenic eutrophication, meaning a lake with this type of human influence can age more quickly than it would on a more natural timeline. This drain testing project began developing in 2021 when the Bear Lake Watershed Alliance approached the Manistee Conservation District and agreed to partner on the testing of drain effluent directly impacting Bear Lake. The data to be collected correlates to the continued development of the Alliance's SAW grant and advancing the Stormwater Management Plan and its attached deliverables. In this next section, we'll briefly go over the specifics of the partnership and the established storm drain testing plans and parameters for 2022. Here is a map detailing the 4 sites to be tested over the course of 2022, specifically during rain events over the summer and fall seasons. Sampling events are largely dependent on weather, and the volume of runoff varies considerably with each weather event. Pollutants and nutrients are typically flushed through the stormwater infrastructure quickly, so sampling will occur during a triggering weather event or as close to this as possible. The effluent collected at these sites is bottled and stored according to laboratory parameters and then transported to SOS Analytical Laboratory for analysis. Our first site is BL00, located behind the Bear Lake Easy Mart. This is a drainage ditch with a small culvert-style influent and effluent. Here's what it looks like during a rain event as opposed to during a dry spell. Our next site is across the road toward the lake. This spot was sampled incorrectly during the first data collection event. This drainage channel was sampled as opposed to this effluent area here next to the water. This will be corrected during our next sampling event. This channel strongly smelled of sewage during heavy rain, and over here is what the outflow looks like during dry weather. BL02 is located at the other end of the park from BL01. This area is another drainage channel, and for reference, here's another comparison between wet and dry weather conditions. This last site, BLO3, is great as far as runoff filtration. At this location, we have a type of biofiltration swale. The rocks and grass here are designed to slow down stormwater and filter it into this recharge area so that it can be filtered through before it makes it to the lake. The testing parameters that have been agreed upon were chosen based on the potential outcomes this effluent can have on the dynamics of the lake. Utilizing the chosen testing parameters will provide a representation of nutrients or additives entering the lake that could potentially have the highest impact. Testing parameters include orthophosphate, or sometimes referred to as soluble reactive phosphorus. This is a test that tells us how much phosphorus is biologically available for uptake by plants and aquatic life. Total phosphorus. This tells us how much total phosphorus is in the lake, including phosphorus that may be dormant in the substrate and can be released under specific conditions. Total suspended solids, or TSS. This tells us about water clarity. Ammonia tells us a bit about the nitrogen cycle, and that's a cycle that needs to be completed to allow for a healthy lake. Nitrates are essential plant nutrients, but in excess amounts they can cause significant water quality problems, especially paired with high phosphorus levels. And then we have E. coli, which is used as an indicator organism because it is easily cultured, and its presence in water in defined amounts indicates that sewage may be present. If sewage is present in the water, disease-causing bacteria may also be present. At the end of the year, a report will be written up by the Manistee Conservation District with a detailed analysis of the laboratory results. This collection of representative storm drain samples will be a valuable addition to already existing lake management practices, and because a lake is a reflection of the surrounding watershed, these additional stormwater samples will be significant in understanding more about the health dynamics and influences on Bear Lake. The Manistee Conservation District enthusiastically supports the purpose of the Bear Lake Watershed Alliance to protect and promote the natural qualities of Bear Lake and its surrounding watershed, preserve for future generations the beauty and recreational resources of Bear Lake and its watershed, engage in water quality monitoring, promotion of harmonious land development, and promotion of the safe use of Bear Lake, and advocate to ensure the continued aesthetic beauty and environmental integrity of the lake and its watershed. Thank you for listening, and stay tuned for results.